So we're now just 7 episodes away from the end of Game of Thrones, and I think it might be the best TV show ever. Sure, there are probably better seasons of some shows out there, and in 10 years time it's going to be hard to look back at some of the things in Thrones without them looking completely awful, but as far as shows that have had 66 episodes go, Game of Thrones is undisputedly one of the best. And with only 7 episodes of the show to go, I think it's the perfect time to talk about why this might be the best show ever made. Without a doubt, there isn't a show with better characters than Game of Thrones, especially in terms of sheer numbers. There are so many heroes, villains, and characters that flip-flop between the two, so you're not really sure whether you should love them or if your love for them is wrong. Whenever we cut to a different part of Westeros to learn about what's going on from a certain character's perspective, there's never a side of the story I don't want to see, and I think that's down to some of the great characters and their constant evolution. Take a look back at 2 of the show's main characters over the course of the first 6 seasons, Daenerys Targaryen and Jaime Lannister. One goes from being a tool used to help her brother gain power, she becomes a leader herself, a breaker of chains, a mother of dragons, and all the other titles she has. And the other starts the show by trying to kill a young boy, capturing our hero, and oh yeah, having sex with his twin sister. He goes from that to losing his hand, showing his more sensitive side, and then raping his twin sister in front of her son's corpse. But we still like him. And after 6 seasons of build, when these characters finally come to a head, it is worth all of that build up, and it puts you in a situation with having seen these 2 stories from both sides that you don't want either character to die. And that's just 2 examples of how well built up the stories of these characters in this world are. And I don't think I can name another show with more characters I actually care about in it than Game of Thrones. It really does such a good job of making these people feel real that even when they're not main characters that you see every single episode like Podrick or Gendry, when they are back in the show, you're excited to see what's going on in their life and where it's going to go. While the characters and their stories are all well and good, it's the shocking moments that really set this show apart.
What the fuck is
After the first season, when Ned Stark, the person you thought would be the hero of this story, was killed, nothing should come as a surprise, but it still happens now, with series after series filled with moments that you can't believe actually happened, and no other series has made me scream in shock as much as Game of Thrones. And it never just happens for the sake of it. It's not like one of those other shows where characters die and then they're just replaced next week by other characters that kind of just fit the same stereotype, or where characters are added in to the start of a season and don't survive past the end of it. You never know who is going to die, who is going to get taken, who is going to be poisoned in Game of Thrones, and it always comes as a surprise. These shocking and surprising moments are what makes the show a must-watch as soon as it comes out, and what makes me as excited to talk about it as I am to watch it. And who brings along these shocking and horrible moments? Well, most of the time they're brought along by some fantastic villains, with most of them having the same goals and aspirations as the heroes in this story. The only real difference is how they go about things. It seems like pretty much everyone in Game of Thrones' main goal is to have power, to be a leader. It just depends how they're going to go about it, which separates the good guys from the bad guys. And as well as people you love, the show is filled with characters that you just love to hate. People like Joffrey, people like Ramsay Bolton, even the damn High Priest, who I couldn't stand when he was on the show. You couldn't get these incredible moments of people overcoming the odds without some truly horrible people. And sometimes the show making you hate characters so much when they come on screen is just a testament to how good it is, even if a lot of the time the person that wins is just kind of the lesser of 2 evils.
Everyone who isn't us is an enemy.
What also comes from having some great villains is some incredible action scenes. With scenes good enough to be in any blockbuster, it's crazy to see how far this show has come. The first series kind of smartly avoided showing battles when it didn't think it could do them justice, with Tyrion getting knocked out and then you kind of hearing about the battle afterwards. But later on, the battle scenes just seem to get better and better, starting off with fighting the wildlings, fighting the White Walkers, and then you look at season 6 where you get probably the best battle sequence to ever be on TV, the Battle of the Bastards. Absolutely incredible fighting. It's really carried on in season 7. I feel like the reason they've kept it down to just 7 episodes this series is so that every single episode almost either has a battle in it or is building up to a battle in the next episode, and I think the action is just incredible in this show. It's getting better and better. I can't wait to see what it's going to be like in the final series. But the final thing I do want to talk about when we talk about the final series is that the show is actually coming to an end. I can't stand shows that just seem to go on forever with no end in sight. This is a series that has given us so many stories that have spread out and they've gone in their own different directions, and now they seem to be actually coming back together, coming to a head, and all these stories tie together nicely, and they're already starting to wrap up. It leaves me with a lot of hope and a sense that the end of Game of Thrones will definitely not disappoint unless 2 things don't happen. If we don't see Jon Snow riding a dragon or Clegane Bowl at some point, this show is going to be a big disappointment, but I have faith in you Game of Thrones creators. And that's it. That's some of the reasons I think Game of Thrones is the best TV show ever, or at least the best one I can think of now. But with that only being one more episode of this series left to air, and God knows how long until the next episode, I really kind of made this to get some help. I want to know what you think is the best TV series ever made. Let me know in the comments, pitch it to me, because I really need some new shows to watch for the next year and a half until the final series of Game of Thrones comes out. So thank you for watching, and subscribe for more.